today. I think this is the toughest match in the group for him. He's got a much better chance, obviously, against the other guys. But at least if he comes out and plays a solid match, even if he does lose, that'll still give him a little bit of confidence when he takes on Ferrer and Del Potro.
Yeah, it's certainly an exceptionally difficult task to try and beat the very best players in the world when you're fully fit. So if he is a little under the weather, it's going to be doubly difficult for the Serb this afternoon. Fingers crossed that he's able to go out there and perform somewhere near the very best of his capabilities, because when he does, he's a very exciting player to watch. Nervous moments for the competitors. Even somebody like Federer will be nervous coming out onto court in front of 17,000 people to play his first match of the tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen,
handling those
returning
nerves.
to the Barclays ATP World Tour Finals for a second year in a row, the world number 9 from Serbia, J.Tipsarevic.
It really has come of age in the last couple of years. Terrific athletes, a great interview, and a very interesting person. But above all that, an exceptionally gifted athlete and a superb tennis player. And he's done remarkably well to qualify by rights this year. And of course, he did send a thank you text to Rafael Nadal.
The 6-time Barclays ATP World Tour Finals champion and the world number 2 from Basel, Switzerland, R.Federer.
A man that needs very little introduction wherever he plies his trade, and he's always taken this particular tournament very seriously down the years. 6 times he's been able to prove victorious against the very best players in the world, and he would dearly love to improve that record further still this time around.
Please thank this afternoon's Barclays mascot.
And of course, Robbie, if he does manage to get a win under his belt today, he'll have yet another record as far as this particular tournament's concerned.
Yep, he'll surpass Ivan Lendl with the most match wins at this particular event. Right now, they both stand with 39 apiece. So another record that Federer would add to his already impressive list.
Of course, Tipsarevic did have to pull out of Paris last week. Said he felt dizzy when he was out there on the court. Federer didn't play in Paris. He said it was simply too difficult to play in the final of Basel and then go directly to Paris, with London hot off the heels of Bercy as well. So he's had a good week's preparation, practicing here at the O2 Arena as well as at Queen's Club. So he should be fit, healthy and raring to go.
Gentlemen, same conditions as always. Just remember about TV changeovers, 3 challenges per set, 1 more in the tiebreak, and time between points. Okay, any question? No? Haley will do the toss for us. Please, Roger.
Yes, please.
Tails. Yanko? Receive. Receive. Okay, picture with her.
No hesitation. Tipsarevic electing to receive. Looks like Aileen went to the same hairdresser I did. What a nice touch. Members of the public invited out to enjoy the coin toss with players throughout the course of the week. And always nice to get a picture for the mantelpiece as a result. So it should be a decent match this, but of course Federer comes into it as the heavy favourite. Not only given his record at this particular tournament, but of course his record against Tipsarevic, never lost to him in their 5 previous meetings. And of course Federer has enjoyed a sensational season, and quite rightly, even though he's not the top seed at this particular event. He's slipped to number 2 in the world now behind Djokovic. He's still a hot favourite to qualify for the knockout stages in the semi-finals, but snip and tuck behind him, Robbie.
Yeah, it certainly is. And
I don't know anybody though who's picked Tipsarevic, even if he was fully fit. But sometimes it's good to come into the matches with very little expectation.
Well, you're 100% right. And that's how he's got to approach it. he's well aware of the fact that it was the last person to qualify for this event, but you've got to make the most of it, enjoy it. Don't play with any shackles on. It's going to be key.
Well, let's take a slightly closer look at these two, starting with the Swiss maestro. He's had an outstanding season again, 6 ATP World Tour titles, including his 17th Grand Slam crown at Wimbledon, and that meant a lot to him. You could see how nervous he was at the beginning of the match, and therefore it's been an emotional season, because off the back of that he had an opportunity to win a gold medal at the Olympics in the singles. That's the only thing really missing from his resume. His performance in that final was relatively disappointing, but overall, Robbie, it's been a good year, hasn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, it all started at the tail end of last year when he won Basel, Paris and here, and continued at the start of the season, playing so well in Rotterdam, Dubai, Indian Wells and Madrid. And that laid the platform for him to eventually secure that world #1 ranking again after Wimbledon, and he's held it for an all-time record of 302 weeks now, which is quite phenomenal.
And of course his record at this level is also quite phenomenal. 269 wins, 21 titles, record in finals is outstanding, especially when you consider many of those losses have come at the hands of Rafael Nadal on the clay. And he seems to manage the season so well, so very rarely do we see him playing with an injury, playing when he's jaded, and that becomes even more important, doesn't it, when you're a little older?
It certainly does, and it's something that R.Federer mentioned in his press conference yesterday prior to the tournament getting underway for him, that he believes that one of the reasons he's done so well of late is purely down to the fact that he's been able to remain injury-free.
Plenty of Federer fans in the house, and they'll be in fine voice, I'm sure, throughout the course of the afternoon. But they'll be well aware of the fact that Tipsarevic on his day can cause the very best in the world all sorts of problems. Followed his first top 10 season last year with another similarly successful campaign this time around. Third career title in Stuttgart. Amazing, really. It took him so long, didn't it, for him to win his first ATP World Tour title. 2 more finals in Chennai, so he started the season well. And, of course, mid-season in Gstaad as well, losing to Bellucci there. And 5 more semi-finals too, including a couple of Masters Series 1000, so rock solid.
Absolutely, and it's amazing. Just getting back to the initial point you make, I remember mid-2011, he was the highest ranked player never to win a title, and then it suddenly just poured down, didn't it? He won in KL, finished the champion in Moscow, and of course wrapping up in Stuttgart in 2012. So he's once you get that monkey off your back, it's amazing how suddenly things just seem to rain down upon you.
Look at the difference in terms of match wins at this level, or especially when you're talking about Masters Series 1000. It's just 42.
Yeah, versus 239.
And then that shows you how long it took Tipsarevic to actually make his way up the rankings to be able to compete at this level on a regular basis.
And that's why players will always be judged as to how well they do at these events. And if you want to break into the top 20, you've got to try and have more wins than losses at this level. That's the key.
Now, of course, when you have a little look at their head-to-head record, Federer fans will delight in the fact that he's won all 5 of their previous matches. But if there is a silver lining to that relatively dark cloud, it's that epic match that they had at the Australian Open back in 2008, which Federer won 10-8 in the 5th. But that will at least prove to Tipsarevic that if he plays his best tennis, he can live with Federer.
Yeah, in fact, that one could have gone even longer, because I think he was serving at 40 love at 8 all there, if that memory serves. But those are the kind of things that you've got to hold on to when you go into a match like this. You've got to kind of forget all the negative stuff, put it to the side. And those are the psychological games that sportsmen and tennis players specifically play with themselves. Selective memory. Try and big yourself up and almost pull your opponent down if you can.
Let's talk about the matchup then, as far as these two are concerned. Is there anything that Tipsarevic does better than Federer?
I think his ability to take the backhand up the line, if we're looking at a specific shot, is better than Federer's. And that's where he hurt Federer so much in the Australian Open, because we know that Fed likes to back off into the backhand corner, and he was playing good one-strike tennis. He wasn't trying to trade blows with Federer's inside-out forehand. As soon as he got a look, bam, he pulled the trigger and nailed the backhand up the line, and often caught Federer out when Roger had to suddenly scamper to his right and chase down forehands.